Welcome to Small Talk Daily for Friday, May 14th, 2010. This morning we're going to add the first post content to our blog server and get it to render. And the way this is going to work is we're going to actually dumb up some blog posts. You notice that we don't have a post editor yet. We'll get to that later in this tutorial. But what we're going to do is take all this code that was in the workspace, that was one of the downloads that I offered here. The link will be in the show notes. And just highlight the whole batch of stuff here. And what this does is it creates the storage object, creates a user, Fred Flintstone as you can see here, and then creates some posts objects and puts some of them in the past and some of them in the present. So let's go ahead and do this. So that creates all of our posts and a user. So we've just done that. And again, this is not doing any file storage or database storage. It's just in memory. So none of this will persist if you don't save an image. So let's go ahead though and try to add the code that'll display this. Right now, if you recall, nothing really much happens with this. If we go to Seaside, open browser on server, and we go ahead and go to blog view, all we get here is this. So right now all we're rendering is that top piece. So let's push that out of the way. And what we're going to do is we're going to come in here to the blog list UI and we're going to add the rendering code that will go ahead and get stuff to render. Now the most important thing first off is we need a render content on method. So what we're going to do is come over here, add a new category called rendering, and I'm going to paste this in and explain it. So here what I'm going to do, and you'll notice this isn't understood because I haven't written that method yet. We'll precede that. It's going to grab the post from the storage object, and iterating over each post is going to render them each on the HTML. So we have the HTML canvas. We're going to ask each post object, or ask ourselves, render each post iteratively on the HTML canvas. So what we do now is grab that code that I have copied over in a different window, and I'm going to go ahead and add it, and I'll explain it in a moment. So we'll hit Control S. What we do here is for an individual post we put out a div, and inside that div we name it class post. Again, that's for styling purposes. And all I do is put out HTML strong, so it's going to be bolded. Put out the post title, then a break, then the content. Notice I have HTML colon. What that does is assume that the post content might be HTML because our editor might produce that. So we're going to not have this go out as, just molded by Seaside or emphasized by Seaside. It's just going to go out raw as it is. Then we put a break and then the timestamp. And that's pretty much it. Let's go back over here and we'll bring up the browser and we'll refresh this and see what happens. And you see it's not very exciting, but it is rendering post content, title, content. So it's not very exciting, it's not formatted nicely, but it is rendering. So we've got the basics of our blog server rendering. We don't have any menus for actions, but we'll get to that again in the future in these tutorial. So that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with small talk.